Gentlemen, it's Brock Pinkerus and Daryl Charlier on the front row. Here we go. FK Rod ends heat race number 1. Green flag is out. And Pinkerus out to Charlier into turn number 1. Here comes Ashton, brings up to the number 2 spot. Working their way into corner number 3. It's Pinkerus followed by Briggs and Charlier. 8 laps the distance, 5 qualify. As Pinkerus leads on lap number 1. They work their way into turn number 2. Now Jim racing to the inside of Marlatt for the 4th spot. Down the back stretch, it's still Briggs trying to hold off Charlier, and Charlier dives down to the inside. They get into each other coming through turn number 4. Charlier backs out of it. Briggs holds on to number 2 spot. As they work their way down the back stretch. Jim Racing now up to the side of Charlier, completing lap number 3. Working around here, halfway point is here, 4 down, 4 to go. Pinkerus with a big lead in car number 555. Briggs holds on to the number 2 spot now over Racing. Jim Racing right there with that machine as he tries to get into the action. Working through the turn, here comes completion of lap number 5. Charlier trying to hold on as Briggs and Racing go side by side into turn number 2. Racing down to the low side of Ashton Briggs. Racing takes that number 2 spot. Here comes Charlier down to the inside of Briggs to grab 3rd. 2 laps to go as Pinkerus blasting away from the field in the 555. Racing holds on to that number 2 spot. Here comes Briggs down to the inside of the 42 of Charlier. They're side by side for 3rd. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for Brock Pinkerus. Down the backstretch, Briggs to the inside of Charlier. Checkered flag is out. Brock Pinkerus is your winner. 2nd going to Jim Racing. 3rd goes to Ashton Briggs, followed by Daryl Charlier and Brett Marlatt. Rounds out the top 5. So your race winner, Brock Pinkerus in car number 555. 2nd was Jim Racing in car number 21J. 3rd, Briggs, followed by Charlier and Brett supposed to be the 87S of Brad Messler. He does not make it out. John Haggerty in the 49. He'll start at the back of the pack. 5 cars qualify. 8 laps the distance. Green flag is out. Carly working the inside of Martin into turn to number 2. Carly races away from Martin down the back stretch. Martin to try to close in on Carly. Ben Easler growing up to that 3rd spot as he battles with Wilbur. Here comes the 61 of LaFleur as he works down the inside of Wilbur into turn number 3, or turn number 1 that is. Messler coming out onto the speedway. Quickly out there in car number 87. As they head down the backstretch now, Joe Martin all over Ed Carly as they duke it out for that number 1 spot. Meanwhile, your top 5 pretty much all set right now with Carly, Martin, Easler, followed by LaFleur and Wilbur. Haggerty up to that number 6 spot, but he's got to get into the top 5 position in order to move into the main event. Working off the turn now to complete lap number 4. As they head down the back stretch. Carly still holds off Martin, followed by Easler, LaFleur, and Wilbur. 5 laps are complete. Laps to go for your race leader, Ed Carly, in car number 2C. Carly still your leader over Joe Martin. Joe Martin holds on number 2 spot with the white flag out. Ed Carley racing away, picked up a win last week at Genesee Speedway. Here he comes through turn number 4. Ed Carley wins heat race number 2. Second goes to Joe Martin. Third is Ben Easler. Fourth, Chuck LaFleur. Fifth is Jake Wilbur. From Orno, Ontario, Canada. The 18 of Mike Wonderling out of Wellsville. The 87K of Randy Hall. And the 51 of Austin Hauser. Ready to roll. Green flag is out. Bryce Davis side by side there with the 36 of Dawson. And Stein going way wide in turn number 2. He's going to lose some spots out there as they work their way into turns 3 and 4. Bryce Davis holds on to the number 1 spot, followed by the 36 of Cody Dawson. Mike Wonderling getting out of shape in turn number 2, and he slides wide and allows 3 cars underneath him. It's Davis, your leader, followed by Cody Dawson. Then the number 32A of Austin Allen, followed by Craig Graham and the number 87K of Randy Hall. Stein way wide here in turn number 1. As they head down the backstretch, coming out of turns 3 and 4 now. Your race leader, the number 94 of Bryce Davis. Second is the 36 of Cody Dawson. 32A of Austin Allen is third, followed by Craig Graham in the 87 of Randy Hall. Working around turns 3 and 4 now. Your race leader at the halfway point belongs to Bryce Davis. The battle on the track right now is for the 4th spot between Craig Graham and Randy Hall. Craig Graham holding him off so far. The Canadian hot shoe picked up a heat race win at Outlaw Speedway a couple weeks ago. Now he holds off the number 87 of Randy Hall, a veteran racer out there out of Olean, New York. 5 laps are complete as they work their way out of turn number 2. Austin Hauser has moved up to that number 6 spot, but he's not close enough to get up into a position. 2 laps to go for your race leader, Bryce Davis. Cody Dawson feeling the heat right now from Austin Allen. Top 2 cars move on to the Sunoco Dash. White flag is out for Bryce Davis. Davis holds on to the number 1 spot right now over Austin Allen, over Cody Dawson and Austin Allen. Allen trying to close in on Dawson. Checker flag will be coming out. And your race winner in car number 94 is Bryce Davis. Second is Cody Dawson. Third, Austin Allen. Fourth, Craig Graham. And fifth is Randy Hall. All right, your race winner, Bryce Davis in car number 94. Second, the 36 of Cody Dawson. Those 2 will move on to the Sunoco Dash. Top 5 qualify for the A-Main. Top 2, I forgot to mention this, in each heat race will move on to our Sunoco Dash to determine the top 8 starting spots for tonight's feature. Finishing in 3rd was Austin Allen. 4th was Craig Graham. And 5th was Randy Hall. Track promoter, 1S of David Stolzenberg, and the 6N of Cassie Norman round out your 8 cars, 8 laps, 5 cars qualified up to the Dash event. Wonderling outduels the number 75 of Miley into turn number 1, Bidwell into 3rd as Zimmerman slides wide in turn number 2, almost allows Stebbins by as Jacob Tubbs tries to fight Stebbins for that number 5 spot. Working around to complete lap number 1. Working off the turn, it's still Jeremy Wonderling, your race leader. Wonderling, your race leader, followed by Miley. Oh, we got trouble here. Stolzenberg, who had fuel leaking from his car earlier tonight in the 1S. He's going to try to get through into the pit area. I don't know if he's going to make it. Or into the infield area. 3 laps are complete. Heading down the back stretch should be the halfway point coming up for the number 3J of Jeremy Wonderling. Halfway point is here. Wonderling over Miley, followed by Bidwell. Nice battle shaping up for the 4th spot. Stebbins down to the inside of the 31 of Kyle Zimmerman. Stebbins takes that spot away going into turn number 3. Coming around to complete lap number 5. Working down the back stretch now. Wonderling will see the parallel flags from starter Mike Rinninger as he works off of turn number 4. 2 laps to go for Wonderling. Wonderling, your race leader, followed by Jared Miley and Damian Bidwell. Kurt Stebbins holds on to the number 4 spot. The 31 is Zimmerman in 5th. Tubbs just out of a qualifying spot. White flag is out for your race leader, Wonderling. Mr. Excitement, Jeremy Wonderling, feature winner here last Friday night. Winner a couple weeks ago at the Outlaw Speedway for his first win of the 2024 Touring Series. He's looking to get feature win number 2 tonight. He'll move on to the dash and then win the heat race number 4. Jared Miley finishes in the number 2 spot, followed by Damian Bidwell, Kurt Stebbins, and the 31 of Kyle Zimmerman. So your race winner, Jeremy Wonderling, in car number 3, Jay. Oh, Kurt Stebbins almost into the back end of Damian Bidwell there. Look out. Everyone was trying to head off to the pits, and it got a little crazy back there. Jeremy Wonderling, your race winner. Jared Miley finished 2nd. Damian Bidwell 3rd. 26 of Stebbins was 4th. The 31 of Kyle Zimmerman rounds out the top 5.
We'll start in position number 6. Off of turn 4, there it is. Green flag goes in the air as it is a side-by-side battle between Wilcox and Chamberlain through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Wilcox prevails at the bottom of the racetrack. He slides by and to the race lead. Down the back straightaway into 3 and 4 for the first time. Wilcox continues to lead the way. Here comes Chamberlain trying to power back to the bottom of the racetrack. Can't get the job done. Meanwhile, behind them, the battle for 3rd, hot and heavy. 3 cars going at it. The 47 of Larry Mitchell Jr. was in 3rd. The 78 of Nick Arnold in 4th. And now 24P of Tim Peterson, that is, will now look to the bottom of the racetrack. They go side by side with Arnold up off turn number 4, back onto the front straightaway, side by side for position number 4 as they head through 1 and 2. Battle for the lead starting to shape up to be a pretty good one. Josh Wilcox in the 1W. He is through with the race lead as they head through 1 and 2. But Joe Chamberlain right there within a car length as they head through 3 and 4. It is Chamberlain on the bottom of the racetrack trying to muscle himself up to the side of Wilcox. Can't quite do so. 4 laps down, 4 laps to go. Josh Wilcox, the race leader, as they head off turn 2. Josh Wilcox has a solid lap. He grows his advantage. It's opened up to about 3 car lengths by the time they head back through turns 1 and 2 with 3 laps to go. Chamberlain chops off a car length, but then loses it again off turn number 2. Back and forth, the top 2 go. 2 laps to go, and they come back around this time by, which they do now. 2 more times to go for the 2 race leaders. Josh Wilcox doing everything right so far, and he has kept the 58 of Chamberlain out the back. Off of turn 4, final time, white flag goes in the air, and it is Wilcox, the race leader. Just about a car length or 2 separates the top 2 for the final time down the back straightaway. Wilcox opens it up to about 3 car lengths through 3 and 4. Josh Wilcox is flawless and perfect off turn 4. Josh Wilcox is going to score the first victory in the first of 3 heats in the Kane Stebbins Construction Rush Pro Miles. Approaching the start flag. In turn 4, Heights Raider on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Babcock up top. Green flag goes in the air, but Babcock might have jumped the start. And immediately the yellow flag comes back out as they're going to have to do that one again as Kyle Babcock went a little too early as the control car on the bottom of the racetrack was Caleb Heights Raider. He's supposed to fire first, and he did not. Kyle Babcock did 2 of 3 for the Rush Pro Mods We'll try it again. Green flag goes back in the air, and this time Heights and Raider does fire first, but Babcock stays with them. Side by side on the front straightaway and into turns 1 and 2. Babcock up top, Heights and Raider down low, and he will slide to the race lead. Now Babcock not only under the gun from Josh Canfield, who slides by in position number 2, but Steve Watson in the 131 is there as well. Now it is Canfield in position number 2. Babcock and Watson side by side for third as they head through 1 and 2. Heights and Raider, the race leader, being tracked down by Josh Canfield, who rides in second. And now the 131 of Steve Watson gets around the 3B of Kyle Babcock. Babcock started this one second, drop kick back to fourth. Watson got a win at Bradford Speedway a couple of weeks ago, looking to do it again here, this time in heat number 2 of 3 for the Rush Pro Mods. Loses a little touch to the top 2 off turn number 4, or off into turn number 3 that is, but gains it right back off turn number 4. Now it is Canfield who is trying to follow in the tire tracks of Heights and Raider as they head down the back straightaway. Just about 2 car lengths, a car length and a half separates the top 2. Here's Canfield though, driving it way deep through 3 and 4, gets a great run, side by side for the race lead off turn 4. What a run, what a pass by Josh Canfield. Just takes over the top spot with ease. Gets around the 51 of Heights and Raider, a new race leader, the 33 of Josh Canfield. And now here comes the 131 of Steve Watson. He will try to get by the 51 of Heights and Raider, and he will do so. Cuts up and chops off the nose of the 51 as they head off to turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Canfield, he is starting to pull away, and he has got 2 laps to go. Off of turn number 4, down the front straightaway, 2 to go for the race leader. Josh Canfield just has 1 more lap around McKean County Raceway before he can be crowned the heat winner in the second of 3 heats for the Kane Stebbins Construction Rush Pro Mods on our second night of 2024 at MCR. Canfield off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway, opening up his advantage over the 131 of Steve Watson. Through 3 and 4 for the final time and onto the front straightaway. It's going to be the 33 of Josh Canfield who scores the victory in the second of 3 heats in the Rush Pro Mods. Josh Canfield, Rush Pro Mods getting ready to go here at McKean County Raceway. Green flag goes in the air as it is Zane Harvey who fires first. He launches out to the race lead, and Tyler Oaks launches to position number 2. Sirline, who started this one in second, is battling for his life for position number 3, and he loses that one to Critter Hempel. So Sirline, he will go all the way back to 4th. Meanwhile, up front, it's Zane Harvey, and he is pulling away, starting to gap the field. Oaks now rides in position number 2. Hempel to 3rd, and Sirline all the way back to 4th, and now the 15X of Dustin Gross closing in on him. Sirline looks like he might have an issue, and he does. Off the pace going into turn 3, that opens up the door for the 15X of Dustin Gross. He slides by, but now Sirline with the crossover. He will try to hammer down on the gas and take back position number 4. Can't do so just quite yet. Still rides in the 5th position. Up front, Zane Harvey pulling away from Tyler Oaks as he is continuing to gap the field as he heads back to 1 and 2. Laps down, 4 laps to go for the race leaders on the bottom of the racetrack. Up top, the 22T of Tyler Oaks. Side by side on the restart flag they go. Green flag goes back in the air 5 more times around here in the 3rd and final heat of the Kane Stebbins Rush Pro Mods, as they will now, or Kane Stebbins Construction Rush Pro Mods. They head down the back straightaway. It is Zane Harvey continuing to gap the field, picking up right where he left off before that caution. It is Oaks in second. He goes about a groove higher, followed in the tire tracks by Critter Hempel. That's your top 3 side by side for 4th as they head through 1 and 2. Sirline on the bottom of the racetrack. Gross up top. They continue to be wheel to wheel as they head off turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Zerline got really loose in the middle of turns 3 and 4, and he has been drop kicked all the way back to 6. Lost a lot of time. Now Zane Harvey, who has just dominated this heat, continues to do so. He will see 2 laps to go off turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. 2 more times around for Zane Harvey. White flag being displayed for Zane Harvey, so he's got 1 more time around now around McKean County Raceway in the 3rd and final heat of the Kane Stebbins Construction Rush Pro Mods. Harvey will dial up the low line through 1 and 2 to successfulness, and he will head down the back straightaway into 3 and 4 for the final time. Bottom of the racetrack, he goes onto the front straightaway. Zane Harvey scores the victory in the 3rd and final heat in the Kane Stebbins Construction Rush Pro Mods class here at McKean County Raceway. Meanwhile, behind him, Oaks comes across the line in 2nd, Hempel in 3rd, the 15X of Dustin Gross in 4th, and the 98 of Kevin Down rounds out the top 5. But here he is, race fans on the front straightaway, giving up for the 22 of Zane Harvey. Approaches the start flag in turn 4. Green flag goes in the air, being waved there by Tony Van Pelt up on the flag stand as Brandon Blosser jumps out with the early race lead. But here comes Rob Eaton, hard charging up top. Can't get the job done. Matter of fact, slides wide. Carson Wonderling to the bottom of the racetrack and by. It's a 3-car fight for position number 2 as Blosser starts to pull away with the race lead. Brandon Blosser with the race lead, starting to pull away from Carson Wonderling, who rides in position number 2 now. Jesse Isidore in 3rd. Rob Eaton got really loose going into turn 1. He lost another couple of spots. He's all the way back to 4th. Now the battle on the track, shaping up to be a good one. It's the battle for 2nd. It is Isidore to the bottom of the racetrack and by Carson Wonderling. He slides into position number 2, and now he will set his sights on the race leader of Brandon Blosser. But does he have enough time? Off turn number 4, Blosser continues to lead, and he's got a lengthy advantage. Halfway down, halfway to go this time by, and it is Brandon Blosser in the 15B who continues to show the way and pull the way at that. Jesse Isidore rides in 2nd, then Carson Wonderling in 3rd. Rob Eaton, he had a great car last weekend, was able to get the job done, but now he's in 4th. And then all the way in the back is the 078 of Donovan Severai, and now it is back to the top of the field. We will look. It is the 15B of Brandon Blosser. Jesse Isidore in 2nd, still not being able to gain any ground on the race leader. Blosser will head through 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. 2 laps to go for the race leader. White flag being displayed now as Brandon Blosser continues to maintain that healthy lead that he has to his advantage. A lot of daylight between him and 2nd place running Jesse Isidore. They will sling their machine to the bottom of the racetrack through 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway for the final time. Brandon Blosser has nothing to worry about out back. He heads through 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag in the air, and Brandon Blosser started this one in 1st, and he will finish there and win the first of 2 heats in the Beaver Trucking and Excavating Sharp Mini Late Models. Back on the front straightaway in the 15B, give it up for the 15B of Brandon Blosser. Here in the 2nd and final heat of the Beaver Trucking and Excavating Sharp Mini Late Models. Green flag goes in the air for the first time for the 5-car field, and immediately side by side, wheel to wheel, all the way down the front straightaway and into turn 1 was Josh Outman in the 8 and the 9S of CJ Sherwood. Sherwood slides wide. That opens up the door for the 9W of Chris White. Those two go wheel to wheel through 3 and 4, and this is allowing Josh Outman to escape with the race lead. Chris White, he clears the 9S of CJ Sherwood off turn 4, and now he will try to track down the race leader of Josh Outman. Outman with about 2 or 3 car lengths to his advantage, stretches it out a bit off of turn number 4. Outman was the one who really started that wreck last Friday here off of turn number 2. And now Outman slow off turn 4. Problems for the race leader. Chris White slides by. He'll take over the top spot. Outman, he has major issues just now getting the car back under power. Chris White to the race lead, and he's got a 7-car length advantage over CJ Sherwood. CJ Sherwood went about as low as you possibly can go through 1 and 2. Got a little bit of that advantage chopped down as he continues to try to track down the 9W of Chris White through 3 and 4. Back onto the front straightaway, halfway down, halfway to go this time by, and CJ Sherwood is there. He is not letting Chris White get away just quite yet. Throttles up immediately off turn number 2. Sherwood gets a very good entrance to the corners, but Chris White gets a better exit. This is going to be a fun battle all the way to the end. 3 laps to go for the top 2. CJ Sherwood got a little overzealous off turn number 2, swung out the back end just a little bit too much, lost about a car length or 2 laps to go, and Chris White continues to show the way. Outman has got the power back underneath that machine. He has slid to position number 3. Dale Haynes having a whirl of a time through 1 and 2 in 4th. And now back up front, the battle is on. White flag goes in the air one more time around here in the second and final heat of the Beaver Trucking and Excavating Shark Mini Late Models. And it is Chris White who had a thread out the back momentarily by the 9S of CJ Sherwood, but that has alleviated itself now. And it's Chris White all by himself at the front of the field through 3 and 4 for the final time. Chris White saw the door open for opportunity to take the race lead when Outman had his problems, and he never looked back once he stepped through it. It's going to be the 9W Chris White who takes home the checkered flag in the second and final heat of the Beaver Trucking and Excavating Shark Mini Late Models. Second night of racing in 2024 at McKean County Raceway, sponsored by Shuttleworth Auto Sales, and the green flag goes in the air for the first time. Skinner up top, he will launch out to the race lead, and he will clear the 07 of Barry Burke for the through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Mowry got a little bottleneck there. Burrett's got a lot of smoke pouring out the back end of that machine. Hamer slides by. He's into position number 2, but everybody's still chasing Joe Skinner up front as they head off of turn 4 and complete lap 1. Barry Burrett continues to have smoke billow out the back end of that race machine. They head down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Everybody still chasing the 69 of Joe Skinner. He has jumped out and emerged as the race leader, and he has got a sizable advantage to play with. He slings his machine through turns 1 and 2 on lap number 2, continuing to put distance between him and Zach Hamer, who rides in second. Burrett now under the gun from Bruno Mowry. Still, and now we have trouble in turn 3. The 69 of Joe Skinner goes for a spin. Race leader goes around, and the yellow flag comes in the air. Red flag going to be displayed here as the 07 of Barry Burrett. He is on fire, and he will come to a halt. Oh, maybe a halt, not quite yet, but he is still rolling on fire. We saw a lot of smoke billowing out the back end of that machine as the green flag dropped immediately, and you can smell it now here in the grandstands. A big fire underneath that hood of the 07 machine. He has come to a stop now in turn number 2. Kyle, does everything sound all right? Turn number 4 and go back racing 2 laps complete as Tony Van Pelt at the ready on the flag stand. Field comes off turn number 4, back onto the front straightaway. Green flag goes back in the air. Hamer and Mowry were side by side momentarily, but now Hamer slides by. He takes the race lead. Skinner had a hard charge at the top spot. That one fell short. He's under the gun now from Conklin. He gets by for third, and now Mowry takes a peek to the inside of Hamer through 3 and 4. The two leaders go side by side off turn number 4. Back onto the front straightaway. Bruno Mowry's got the advantage. Bruno Mowry will lead lap number 3, and Bruno Mowry will clear Zach Hamer through 1 and 2. Mowry to the top spot. Now here comes Skinner back to the bottom of the racetrack. Hamer has a problem off turn number 2. Very slow. He's off the pace. He goes back in behind the wall to the garage area. Now down to 3. Bruno Mowry, the race leader, 4 laps down. 4 laps to go. Does Joe Skinner have enough time to catch the race leader? Bruno Mowry working with about a 5-car length advantage as they head off of turn number 4, back onto the front straightaway with 3 laps to go here in the only heat in the Costa's Supermarket Pure Stocks. Mowry opens up that lead by about a car length again, so it's now 6, make it 7. Great run off turn number 2 for Bruno Mowry, and he continues to pull away from Joe Skinner. Through 3 and 4, onto the front stretch, 2 laps to go, being signaled now by Tony Van Pelt 2 more times around McKean County Raceway here in the only heat for the Costa Supermarket Pure Stocks. Bruno Mowry, he has still got a very sizable advantage and gap to the front bumper of Joe Skinner directly behind him off turn 4. A white flag goes in the air one more time around for Bruno Mowry. Skinner trying everything he can so desperately to get to the back bumper of Mowry. It is not going to be enough unless Mowry has a huge moment in turns 3 and 4. Mowry gets through turns 3 and 4 now onto the front straightaway, and it's going to be Bruno Mowry in the 48 who scores the victory in the only heat for the Costa Supermarket Pure Stocks. Skinner comes across the line in second. Conklin will round out the top 3, the 3-car field that's left out on the track as Barry Burritt had some issues with the engine, and Zach Hamer in the 7A had issues as well. But back onto the front straightaway. Let them hear it, folks. Give it up for the 48 of Bruno Mowry. The start flag, they do now. Green flag goes in the air. The 04 of Cody Babcock, he will lead the field to green, but Heineman actually beats him to the line, got a better jump. Cody Babcock really loose through 1 and 2, slides up and makes contact with Heineman, but that doesn't hold him back. Heineman to the race lead and opens it up to about 2 car lengths by the time they hit turn 3. Holden Heineman starting to pull away with the race lead. Meanwhile, the 88 of Brittner Dan slides by. He takes over the number 2 spot. Preston Cobb slides by the 04 of Cody Babcock. He goes into 3rd. Cody Babcock talked to him before the race. He said that he was very loose, and it looks like he continues to have that problem. Heineman up front pulling away from the rest of the field. Preston Cobb in that 28C hard charging though in 3rd. He got the job done last week here at McKean County Raceway in the feature. Put it in victory lane. He's looking poised to do that again and try to go back to back, but he's got some work to be done. Up front though, it continues to be the 32H of Holden Heineman. Four laps down, 4 laps to go for the race leader of Holden Heineman. He will now cross the stripe and see Tony Van Pelt with the white and yellow flag being displayed in a cross formation. Heineman pulling away, Dan now in second, and here comes the 28C of Preston Cobb. He will now try to muscle up the back bumper of the 88 machine, and he cuts into that advantage off turn number 4. Down the front straightaway, Preston Cobb within 2 car lengths of the 2nd place position. Laps to go. Holden Heineman continuing to show the way, but Dan Brettinger is under the gun from the 28C of Preston Cobb. Down the front straightaway they go, back through 1 and 2. Preston Cobb, bottom of the racetrack. He gets to the inside of Brettinger, but he is not able to do anything with it. They head down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Cobb still looking for a way around. Can't find it. White flag being displayed one more time around for the 32H of Holden Heineman. As the white flag is being displayed, Heineman up front, out front, and long gone. As long as he doesn't have an issue, he will be able to secure the first of 2 heats here in the Nittany Mini Stocks class at McKean County Raceway. And he is flawless through 3 and 4. And it will be the 32H of Holden Heineman who scores the victory in the first of 2 heats in the Nittany Mini Stocks class. Now the 57 of Steve Baylor will start in position number 6. Green flag goes in the air, and the second of 2 heats in the Nittany Mini Stock class is green as Trevor Putt jumps out to the race lead. Kurt Babcock, he will slide into position number 2, but here comes the 5X of Holden Farr. Side by side they go through 3 and 4, and off of turn 4 it's going to be the 4P of Trevor Putt who is pulling away, and Kurt Babcock has got clear of the 5X of Holden Farr. The top 4 starts a single file out, the top 3 that is starts a single file out. Side by side battle we have for position number 4, Bill Weatherly in the 73 and the 7P of Shane Putt. They will go side by side through 3 and 4. Putt up top, Weatherly down low, but Trevor Putt continues to lead the way. Trevor Putt continues to show the way here in the second and final heat of the Nittany Mini Stocks class. Kurt Babcock is in second, but he is being gapped by the 4P. Then the 5X of Holden Farr rides in third. The 73 Bill Weatherly fourth. And then Shane Putt, the 7P, rounds out your top 5. They head down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Trevor Putt climbs the ladder. He'll ride that high line momentum all the way off turn 4. 4 laps down, 4 laps to go here in the second and final heat for the Mini Stocks. Trevor Putt all by his lonesome at the front of the field, continuing the gap. Kurt Babcock, who rides in second, lap after lap, battle for third, or fourth, third that is, continues to be a good one. Weatherly, bottom of the racetrack. Farr, top of the racetrack. Now Farr will clear the 73 of Weatherly through 1 and 2, head off turn 2 and down the back straightaway. But up front and long gone is the 4P of Trevor Putt, and he will see 2 laps to go being displayed this time by, so 2 more times around for the 4P of Trevor Putt. White flag goes in the air one more time around for Trevor Putt in the 4P, and he is all by himself. Nothing to worry about out back. The 34 of Kurt Babcock in second. Bill Weatherly in third. The 5X of Holden Farr now back to fourth, and then the 7P of Shane Putt to his inside. Those 2 went door to door for a little bit, but up front in the 3 and 4 for the final time is the 4P of Trevor Putt, and he will see the checkered flag first. Off turn 4, Trevor Putt scores the victory in the second and final heat in the Nittany Mini Stock class.
All right, we're going green. Green flag is out. Again, 4 cars qualified for tonight's main event as they head down into turn number 1 and 2 down the back stretch. Side-by-side battle for the number 1 spot. Brent Graham holds the advantage right now over Austin Hauser. Hauser on the outside in car number 51. He takes the lead. Mike Wunderling in third, followed by DJ Krug in car number 83. Ricky Laux trying to move up there. Nice battle for the number 1 spot down the back stretch. Graham on the inside. Austin Hauser on the outside. Working off of turn number 4, it's going to be DJ Krug holding on to that number 4 spot right now. It's still your leader, Hauser, followed by the 14 of Graham. Then it's Wunderling and Krug down the back stretch. Haggerty getting out of line with car number 49, slowed up, and there we got 3 wide. Look out, Krug goes around. And he collides. We got a big wreck happening in turns 3 and 4. Krug goes around. He collects. Let's see. I see the number 1S is over there. Stolzenberg. The 09 of Scott Stein slid into it. But the main contact there ended up being the number 83 of Krug and one other car up there in the corner. Green flag is out. Austin Hauser leads into turn number 1. Here comes Wunderlich looking to the inside of Graham, and Messler's up into the number 4 spot. Brad Messler came here tonight, had to change the engine in the barn out there in the pit area. He's trying to make it into the main event. Mike Wunderlich holds on to the number 3 spot. Messler now to the outside of Wunderlich. Messler cranks it sideways going into turn number 1. Brant Graham right in his way as Mike Wunderlich slides to the inside of Graham. Tubbs a little sideways there with Laus in front of him. Meanwhile, Graham holds on to the number 3 spot after Wunderlich gets underneath. Here comes the number 87S of Messler down to the inside. Messler holding on to that 3rd spot at the line over Graham. Here comes down to the inside in turn number 2. And Messler will take over 3rd. Brant Graham now in the clutches of Ricky Laus as they head into turn number 3. 6 laps will be complete this time by. As they work off of turn number 4, Wunderlich holds on to the number 2 spot. Austin Hauser out front. Here comes Messler in 3rd, followed by Graham, Ricky Laus, and Jacob Tubbs, duking it out there for the number 5 spot, but only 4 cars will move on. Now Graham looking to the inside of Messler again with 7 laps complete. Messler shuts the door going into turn number 1. Austin Hauser out front with the 51 car, trying to make his way into the main event here tonight. 2 laps to go from starter Mike Ringer this time by. Hauser got a little wide in 4, as Wunderlich starts to close in. Working off of turn number 2 down the back stretch. Tubbs has gotten by Laus for 5th. He's got to get by the number 14, however, of Graham. Tubbs and Laus making a little contact. Laus, Hot Rod Ritchie. Hot Rod Ricky holding on to that number 6 spot, barely. And now, with the white flag out, Tubbs is all over Graham down the back stretch. In a battle for the 4th and final transfer spot. Tubbs dives to the inside of Graham. Makes a hard hit. Checkered is out. It's Hauser followed by Wunderlich in 2nd. Messler 3rd. And Jacob Tubbs up to 4th in the final lap. As he gets underneath Brant Graham and steals that number 4 spot. And the rest of them go into the non-qualifiers race if they choose to run that a little bit later on tonight. We had 4 cars qualify.